Hey, what is up you guys? It's Silver Fang and today I'm back with another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at Gilgamesh versus Abigail Williams. And today, uh, talking specifically about fate, I've been having the worst, the worst luck. Like today the banner for uh Gilgamesh, to summon Gilgamesh opened up, and I've spent, let me see how many quartz I did. I'd spend about 75 75 quartz and 4 summon tickets, and I have gotten everything. I've gotten 3 4 stars and all the craft essence in the freaking banner, but no Gilgamesh. Yeah, so it's oh my god. Like the only thing I want is Gilgamesh. Like you can take everything back. You can take the the let me see how many 4 stars I got. Yeah, I got. You can take back all the craft essence. You can take back all the 4 stars and give me freaking Gilgamesh. God damn. I've been looking. I've been trying to summon Gilgamesh ever since I started playing the game. Like first, I wanted to get Emiya, and I finally got Emiya. That's way back when I first started playing the game. And then I was trying, so I got Emiya, and then I was trying to summon Caster Gil, and that took forever. I had to wait. I just summoned him recently. What was it? Um, I forgot what was it. I think he was on Raid Up recently, and I was finally able to summon him. Which okay, and now I'm trying to summon this Gilgamesh. The last Gilgamesh, Caster Gilgamesh, took me like 3 months to be able to summon him, and now I'm trying to summon this Gilgamesh, and it's just not happening. I've gotten everything. I'm telling you, I've gotten everything else that's on the banner. I've got right now, except for Gilgamesh. And they try to troll me too, cause I'm asking for Gilgamesh, and they give me Gilgamesh, Kid Gilgamesh. So this game is trolling me right now. This game is legit trolling me. Oh my god. So enough of that. Let's just let's just watch Abigail Williams versus Gilgamesh. Oh my god.
So, next we come to my favorite choice on this list, my baby. Abigail Williams. We are counting
She's freaking
specifically...
powerful,
Well, I guess we
bro.
could count her in general because she does actually have access to her powers, which would actually be her trump card of all things. But her main major power comes from her outer form. So, Omega, you take away what she's capable of, and I will describe for you exactly how I think this would go down.
So, also, I think it's important to point out that Abigail only exists as a servant because of this, like, team-up, right?
Right, but since we are counting only servant to servant, we can do this fight because of this whole situation, so...
So,
Okay.
strength of B, believe it or not. There are many comments about Abigail arm wrestling various servants. She's only got an agility C, got a mana of B, a luck of C, and a noble phantasm rank of A. No, nobody understands what the noble phantasm rank actually means. Or it gets a bit wiggly. So, transcendental existence EX. I still don't think there's an adequate fluff description of what this is, other than just
Yeah,
this is
like
the characteristic of all Forerunner class.
I try looking for her skills, and there's not a description on most of them. Like there's not a description on the first one, transcendental existence. There's no description on that. There's no description on witch trials, and I think there's no description on loss of sanity. But that's kind of self-explanatory, I guess. And I think prayer or the faith also has no description. So yeah, I tried looking for her skills and it just wasn't happening.
Servants, which
Right.
is
Basically,
basically
she's
their
from another
existence
dimension.
from outside the scope of human order, basically.
Right.
And she is at the top tier of that. She has Insanity B, which it's equivalent to Madness Enhancement in what it does, so I assume it's a very similar concept, only instead of
Okay.
an external force trading your sanity for power, it's just, you know, hooked up to an outer god. It's already a lot of insanity here. Also got Divinity B. Got some fun abilities. We've got the Prayer of Faith C, which is basically as this is a Abigail type ability, which is she has an exceptional like prayer rituals and a rigorous lifestyle, possibly why her endurance is so high. Abigail's unique ability, Witch Trial, which basically it's like a curse kind of. She just generates enmity and has people be accused of witches around her. Basically, it's like I said, a kind of curse that throws accusations around. And then
Okay.
Loss of Sanity B, a fun ability where just you know, Call of Cthulhu-esque makes people crazy. It just eats away at your sanity.
It makes
Here,
people
hold on, I
crazy.
looked up how
Oh,
to say
that's
this. I
cool.
think is it
It's
Kilfoth?
Clefoth Rhizome. That is at least how they
Right,
pronounce it in
Kilfoth
the game.
Rhizome. Yes,
Yeah.
the reference to
Not trying to pronounce that.
the
Actually, I'm gonna
tree of
try it.
evil, basically the
Clethoth
opposite of the Sephiroth tree of
Rhizome.
life.
Right.
So you know that keyhole thing in her forehead? Yeah, she opens a key which distorts the targets and just yeah.
Alright, so here's where
Regarded
I
as an
come in.
anti-unit noble phantasm, I should say, but technically it would be an anti-world noble phantasm because the inside of the is given the property of quote-unquote endlessness.
Well, also because it's
Okay.
also technically anti-world because it's what is it? I read it. I read it actually just a second ago. It's something like let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Has it right here. This is classified as anti-world person. And down with no.
So I've seen two noble phantasms from her. There's the one that they're talking about right now, and then there's another one that is just like it's just light. It's just a lot of light that emanates either from the key in her forehead or from her. It's just a lot of light, like a blinding light. So
With the disposition of having no limits, which would better be designated as an anti-world noble phantasm originally, because basically it's Cthulhu. The idea is that Cthulhu and friends are trying to come out into the world and stuff like that, and of course, if that ever happens, the world is just dead. So that's basically like
okay.
the inverse of that. It's going into her mind through your mind.
Specifically, if you don't mind me getting a little mythos on this,
Sure.
the figure Abigail is plugged into is they use an alternate name for Yog-Sothoth, who is the outer god associated with space and time. He is the key of the gate.
Yeah, like
He
that
exists in
thing
all
is
spaces and times
it's
anytime he
just
likes. Just kind of
insanity.
slide in and out of reality when some.
And the fact that she has like access, even if it was just access to 1% of his power, still a lot. Like that thing is like I've read a few things about the creature that she's connected to, and some of you guys were commenting as well, like of what he is all about, and pretty much he's God, like not a God, like literally like God, like if there were, because in faith we have gods, and then he'll be like the God of all those gods. So yeah, like that thing is insane. So the fact that even if she has access to like 1%, that's still way too much power.
He's also considered a watcher, as in like he sees all things, all realities, all spaces and time at once.
Yeah, like
There
oh
is
my
nothing
god,
Yog-Sothoth cannot see, basically.
that's stupid.
Now, granted, I will be fair. Abigail probably can't use that to its full capacity just because she's a 12-year-old little girl.
Even if it doesn't
But
matter.
that's the key. See, here's how I imagine this fight going, and there's probably, of course, going to be someone disagreeing with me. But trust me, this is based in what we know. Gil would see Abigail, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would use whatever that skill was that discerns, like, oh, this is who you are, this is your power, whatever else. He would see Abigail and he'd be like, the fuck is
Oh
this? The
shit.
12-year-old little girl. He would literally see what the descriptor is immediately for when you ever like bond level 0, it's just straight up like Abigail Williams, 12-year-old girl, blonde hair, blue eyes. That would literally be all he'd know, because then all she has to do is activate Cleathfall Rhizome and it's over. I'm actually dead serious. That is all she has to do.
She would blast him into an infinite space-time, and he would be done.
He has magic resistance E. He has no mental defenses except his own arrogance, I guess. He would just lose. He would actually just
Even
lose.
if she doesn't, like, break his mind or something, or, like, destroy him, he would probably be sucked into, like, an infinite, endless space, and
Like, he
the
would...
fight would be over real quick.
He could literally just be standing there. He doesn't even have to be sucked into a reality, which he probably could be.
I'm not trying to make a case as to why Gilgamesh would win. I don't think he can win, but like they're playing him down a lot because can Gilgamesh like see the future? Like can he like see this? Like he will be able to like it'll happen like they said. Like it'll be like, oh, this is a 12-year-old girl, whatever. But at the same time, like this dude can see, as brief as it is, he can kind of see into the future. So, and what is to say, because as soon as he saw like Heracles, right, he was able to tell not only that he was Heracles, but he was also, and I don't know, like imagine this, like what kind of knowledge could Gilgamesh possibly have on Heracles when Gilgamesh existed way before his time, right? So he saw Heracles and he was immediately able to tell who he was, how dangerous he was, he was able to tell like his whole heroic deeds. Like he's like, oh, you're that Heracles, and he was able to immediately tell how he was immediately able to figure out how his noble phantasm worked. So I think they're kind of playing him down a little bit. There's nothing to say like whether he can see who she's connected to or not, but just me basing on what happened with uh Heracles, I would say that he should be able to see far more than what they're giving him credit for.
Have to actually go that far. She would just afflict his mind and break him. Done. If that sounds too simple, you pretty much see this happen in her animation. That's what her animation basically signifies, except in a more devastating manner, obviously. It's more like, yeah, literally sucking them into a reality. But it's anti-personnel. It literally describes itself as, I'm going back to this because I have to read it just so people understand. This is what it says. A rhizome that grows out of the evil tree Cleafoth, which opens a gate that leads to an alien world that's incompatible with humanity, and produces a severe distortion in the target's mind and body. The target of this effect is restrained by Abigail's own perception, who acts as a key. Gil has no defense against that.
Yeah.
None. Actually no defense.
It's as a, like a portal effect. Nah, like you get pulled in and like it's an infinite space which is not compatible with humans.
Is
It's
it
lot
a
like
portal,
describe
or
what would happen if Nobu got him with?
or does that
Six
whole
Heaven,
thing
right? Like
Right.
happen in your
absolute power
mind from
type
you
entity
looking
Gil is?
at the
Well, Gil's
keyhole?
technically a human, kind of, and like we said, the Qlifoth rhizome goes to is not human friendly.
Right.
It's gonna be save or die, and I don't know if Gil can make that save because, like we said, he's got no magic resistance.
Now, I know there's going to be some people in the comments who will say, well, what if he pulls out Aya at the last minute because she basically has to charge the attack a little bit if she's not going into her outer form?
Well,
because
Gil
this is
kind
also
of
what we
takes
see
a
in Noble
long
Phantasm
time to
animation.
freaking charge
And
Aya.
I say to you, the fuck is he gonna do? He's gonna see a 12-year-old girl glowing. What do you think Gil is gonna do?
Real talk, I think the loss of insanity B will be getting to Gil, and he might not be in his right mind anyway.
Right, that
Also,
alone
very much
would do it.
important to point out. He's got that
Pretty
equivalence of
much.
clairvoyance EX, right? Oh, wow, he can see the future and everything. He
Yeah.
explicitly ignores futures that he doesn't like.
That's
And an example of that is when he cannot see the possible reality where he gets eaten by Dark Sakura because he refuses to accept that that could happen. Abigail's the same way.
And even then, it's a question of
refuse to
whether he could
accept.
even see that, because her entire dominion of power is not only outside into a different dimension,
Yeah, it's like...
but it's also something that humanity cannot even perceive.
Yeah, I think that's
Right,
where
she is beyond
transcendental-
human limits, and also Yogg-Sothoth is explicitly the entity who is about
If-
time and space. So
If anything, I would say that Gil can't even kill her because she like in the and I mean this in the worst possible, like 1% chance of Gil like beating this girl. Like she would just open a portal and leave. Like Gil can't even kill her. Like that's the thing. So it's like. Mm, yeah, he'll probably lose.
it's kind of like trying to fight fire with fire. Only I don't think Gil can win because he's very powerful, but he's still fundamentally a hero of the human order, right? Like he is still standing.
Right, as long as he has that third human mind in him, it's over. Because he still is bound by the concepts of humanity and its reality.
Mm,
Now, like we said, this is limited by Abigail's perception, so there might be
Yes.
situations where, like, off correctly that she could actually, like, get him, like, her mentality would not be in the right space. But fundamentally, if we're talking power to power, it would be some kind of limitation on Abigail's part, which would keep her from just one-shotting him.
Right.
yeah.
Basically, the only problem with this situation is Abigail's typically pretty nice, but she doesn't like to fight. She makes this very clear, especially in her base animations and lines. She doesn't actually like to fight. She would probably, if she was forced to fight this man, she would probably take the pacifist route and end it quickly in a way that's like, well, I didn't hurt him necessarily.
I'm gonna
Abigail,
drop a
12-year-old.
I'm gonna drop a bridge on him, a metaphorical bridge that we're not talking about Fujino.
Right.
Technically, we probably should put, especially since she's now a servant, we should probably put Fujino on our honorable mention list because the Mystic Eyes distortion are crazy.
That's true. But yeah, I mean,
That's another kind of those cases where it's like, but how do those actually match up?
but what do you guys think? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you have a different opinion?
Based on the information as we have it now, no, I think you're right. Like, just the way the power
Yeah,
is
like-
described and what Abigail represents, not as Abigail, but as the Typhon of Yogg-Sothoth. Yeah, no, what the fuck is Gil gonna do? Listen, I got my start game mastering by running Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, no, this is... Cthulhu eats 1d6 investigators per round.
That's true. He does. I actually know that. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, like this... You would need some kind of specific defense or offense against this. Maybe Gil's got some anti-cosmic horror shit in the, like we keep saying, in the back.
Because Gilgamesh, like, he could possibly have something in there for everything. Like, we don't know, but just based on what we've seen, he probably doesn't. And, like, if he had anything more powerful than Aya, I think he might have, maybe probably now would have shown it. Well, like against Enkidu, he probably did. He use, I don't know if he used Aya against Enkidu. I don't remember, but like that was the fight that he was pushed to his limits. And if he had anything more powerful than Aya, maybe he has something in there that mentally protects him, because he kind of is like he still has access to like his caster stuff. Like it's everything is still in the gate of freaking Babylon. So like maybe he has some mental protection in there, but it's all speculation. We've never seen it, So based on what we've seen, he probably has. I don't know, cause A like he treats Aya the way he does because Aya is like made by freak. Like it's not a human based weapon. It's pretty much based made by gods. So if and she's even above some gods. So if Gil had anything more freaking powerful than Aya, I just don't think. I think Aya is like his trump, and he has nothing after that. And if Aya is the most powerful thing that he has, then I don't think it's gonna be enough.
Still, he's a 12-year-old kid. Is he gonna realize what danger he's in?
Right, and you
I don't
you
think
said it, I said it, he doesn't have divine constructs, which might be the only thing that could ward this off in any capacity if we just use our imaginations.
he has some divine constructs, but those are all stuff that he had, like, in his lifetime. Like, Aya's going to
Yeah.
be a divine construct. I think he's got some other stuff in the back there.
Right.
But it's silly.
Basically, yeah,
From his frame of
to ward off this kind of power, he would basically need, like, I don't even want to, like, overblow this, but we're talking about something that's, like,
No, so basically Gilgamesh has like everything that was considered a treasure in his time. So the thing is, like, we've seen plenty of cases where the divine construct has found their ways into human hands. So he might have a few of them in there, honestly, but we just don't know.
humanity can't even describe it because it's so out of our
Yeah, but
range.
that
So he would need
yeah,
basically
that
like an
thing
anti-cosmos noble phantasm or something like that. Something weird.
that thing that she has access to is way more than I don't know why she's considered a regular servant, to be honest.
that obviously because the rules, yeah, what Excalibur represents, the sword of promised victory. Excalibur is literally humans' belief that we can win crystallized.
Right.
So, if you had a full-blown defending the planet Excalibur, it could probably go match this pound for pound. But otherwise, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Who fundamentally rebels against the gods' control over man, he's not necessarily a savior of mankind. As a first hero, he is, well, I mean, but Archer Gill is fun, despite the fact that he's a king with infinite wealth. He's basically a murder hobo. Because he can.
Lucky, do you have any thoughts about Abigail and what Gil might need to beat her?
Well, as I said, we're going off the assumption that they literally like are walking down the street and they turn around the corner and Gil goes, "What?"
Exactly, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
if
like,
Gil... Okay, I'll give Gil this. If he knew what Abigail was, like, I don't even know if I could say maybe. Like,
Nah,
because you're
nah,
right, like we've
Yeah,
just said, he has no defenses.
nah. I don't
Against
think he
those
can do anything about her.
At the same time, what defenses
He has
does
an overwhelming
like?
attack.
Yeah, it's like, I can't like
If,
I can't.
if Gil was like watching and he saw Abigail eat somebody with her mind and he was like, the girl, but clearly there's something very wrong going on here. That might not even be like his respect or his arrogance about Aya. That might be like, well, clearly this is something I, Gilgamesh, need to get the fuck rid of.
Yeah, really. Like, to be fair, yes. If he knows and he's seen it, especially if he's seen it, he would probably just shoot her with Gate of Babylon. And even then, if she goes outer form, she has defense.
Yeah.
She has the Eldritch Horrors she can just casually summon.
Like,
Sure, the gate
if we
works
literally, like,
both
if
ways.
we just go with the basis that we put two servants in a box and we tell them to fight, Abigail will win.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that much I can say for certain. But depending on how things lead up to that, it can go a different way.
Honestly, that's probably why Abigail is best placed lower on this list because like I said, I agree with your version of events, voice, based on the information we have, which is super limited.
Yeah,
Right,
like,
But there's
there's
enough
not much on
New
her.
descriptors.
servant
But
There are enough
doesn't have a match
descriptors.
profile yet.
to be honest, she can only get better. Honestly, I don't think she can get any worse because like pretty much none of her skills have like good accurate descriptions. and I think she can only get better. Like from where she is right now, and the limited information that we have about her, she can only get better.
Like this is all just super high level descriptions from what we see in FGO.
Right.
Yeah, no.
I just can't imagine it being too far off from this. I'm sorry, I know there's gonna be people who are like, well, you like Abigail a lot, so of course you're gonna wank her. And I'm like, no, seriously, what did you think was gonna happen? You know, you're right, if you put him in a box, she just wins.
Like, I do not think that either myself or Lucky have quite the same appreciation for Abigail that Voice does, but no, we fundamentally agree that, yeah, no, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll
this
win.
scenario is,
give
And
us
I
a
like
roadmap.
Gilgamesh.
Right.
Visit this.
I mean, yeah, if we have a little more time and we have actual materials explaining her powers, and even then...
That comes out and explains it, and who knows, it could get worse. She could have
That's what I'm saying. It can considering how little we know.
That's
and
what I
she's
just
this
said. Like she can
devastated,
only
it
get
can
better.
only get worse because she's a
She can only
Cthulhu
get
monster.
freaking better.
It can only get worse.
What about Summer BB, and what about...
We're gonna have to do like a second video of this at some point when we get more servants.
Like, Voice, if you don't mind us committing to this on your behalf, but if there are some good suggestions in the comments, I would
That'll
not be
be
opposed
awesome.
to doing a follow-up video.
Oh, no,
This was
absolutely.
just
I was actually going to
what we
say...
came up with.
Yeah, towards
But
the end
like
of this
I said,
video, as we were wrapping up, I was going to say, if people have suggestions and they want to debate it out, if we find some really good ones, like, we could absolutely make a sequel, but we need enough of them. We would need more than, like, one
Plus,
character.
Like, we could probably have some discussions about Summer BB because of what she's plugged into.
Right, and
at the
she
same
has
time, she's
different
very
powers. Yeah.
She is very new, also.
Okay,
like,
so
give us some time to get some mats and get some, more info out there.
Right. But as
I
far
mean,
as,
I don't know how.
and
I
she's
don't
a
remember
summer
how
servant,
long
so,
ago this came out, but
you know,
if
like,
they
who
were gonna
knows?
do a
with
sequel,
like Raiko, and even
probably
with Skahak a little,
would
like,
have come out already.
or even when we talked about with Nero matchup, Summer Servants are weird because they're mostly gags. Some of them have interesting explorations of alternate aspects of the character, like with Nero, the idea that, well, it's actually suggested
this
in a
is
couple
pretty
places
much-
that if she wanted to be a caster, she'd actually be pretty powerful.
I'm running the risk here of, but I think they're done with Abigail.
Well, okay, so just to make this not too much longer about Abigail, bottom line is, and Abigail's obviously not a summer servant, so we can take her seriously because she is placed in a very serious in-game main story chapter. So
I'm so excited for Epic of Remnant.
Oh,
Summer
absolutely.
Servants would be cool.
But bottom line I'll say about this is my closing statement is, if you put them in a box with no knowledge about each other, Abigail just, as Lucky put it, Abigail wins 10 out of 10. Just like 10 times out of 10 she just wins. If there's prior knowledge, now that's where it gets really up in the air. Because then you can start being like, well, then how durable is Abigail against something like Gate of Babylon? Because we can make conjecture, we can make guesses based on her outer form, but even
Like,
then,
she's
we
got
don't have
high
mats
endurance,
yet.
but she's got a low agility.
Right.
It's yeah.
Because, like...
I'll
then-
talk about
honestly,
that.
it's-
I'll talk
I
about
was
that
just
because
gonna
I
say,
think
then
they're
the
done with
question comes
Abigail.
out, can she just summon tentacles to block for her? Maybe she doesn't even need her agility. Like, who knows? Now that's where it's up in the air, because it's just...
We need a Matt's profile to answer, because
Yes.
those are usually the things that have, like, general armaments.
Right.
Does a servant have general armaments? Maybe? I don't fucking know. It's
Her
not
agility
written
is
yet.
C. Her agility is C because she trips when she runs.
You know what? I'll give you that, Lucky. Alright, we'll move on, because we do
Alright,
have
so let me see
one
what
last
was
major contender.
what are they doing
And
next.
this, I think, is probably the most interesting one. And I'll just label it underneath,
They
because
have
you guys
they have
labeled it
one more. I
underneath
thought,
this.
I thought she
Label
was
it
the last
underneath.
one.
Anyone with the quote-unquote Pioneer of the Stars skill.
Which at this point it contains Da Vinci, Tesla, Drake, and Napoleon. And then
Okay, so they're doing multiple. They're doing multiple now. So I guess next time it'll be the last part, I'm assuming, because from what I'm seeing here, like now they got like multiple servants. So like I'm and by looking at the time, I think they're ready to wrap it up. So let's talk about some stuff that they didn't. Well, they either glanced over in the video, and let's also talk about a hypothetical longer fight. because their main argument was that, oh, they meet and she wins immediately. So let's talk about like a hypothetical, and honestly I think that that is the way that it will go. But let's talk like a hypothetical longer fight. First things first, like I think that Gil can discern way more than they gave him credit for. Like just based on his encounter with multiple people, like just based on his encounter with freaking Heracles. Um, this dude can see so far into the future that in Babylonia he was freaking waiting for Fujimaru. Like I think he can discern way more than they actually give him credit for, to be honest. Um, Next thing is like, okay, so honestly I think Gil has no chance because even if this turned into a longer fight and he used like let's say natural progression, let's say he tries to shoot her with Gator Babylon, she, even though her agility is not that high, it doesn't even matter because she could pretty much just surround herself with portals and the weapons will go into the portals and they won't even hit her. The same thing I think with an air blast, like she can just open a portal in front of her and the air blast will get sucked up. Now there's two forms of air. The next form is the one where like it sucks up everything like a freaking black hole. So like people forget like air can do that. Like air can just like, instead of just throwing a blast, you can pretty much suck everything like a black hole. In that instance, like she could probably counter that. Like even like what is Gil gonna do? Like at the end of the day, like honestly, like the he would have to freaking like destroy the world so they can both die and it's a tie. That's pretty much what he can do. Like, and then we gotta go into a whole discussion about the counter force and shit. Like, so it's just not. I just don't see a way where he can possibly come up with a victory. The only way that I see is like if it's like if what they say, like he sees her swallow somebody with her mind and he freaking shoots her with Aya from behind, and we know that would never happen. So like, and as I mentioned before, like Abigail can only get stronger from here. Like the information that we have on her is pretty limited. Like I tried looking for her skills, I couldn't find a description on almost any of them, with the exception of like divinity, which we already know what it is, and I think one other one. I think it was which one was it? I think it was not insanity. I remember I couldn't find insanity. I think it was lost of sanity that I found a description for, and even that description was pretty vague. So it's like she can only get better from here. So Gil had I don't think Gil has no chance. And by the way, like I don't think she should be considered a regular servant, like a regular heroic spirit, like someone you can regularly summon. I think she's on a higher tier than that, just based on her freaking connection with the freaking Crockett. Because I can't remember that thing's name to save my life. So just based on the connection she has with him, she should be considered at least a god, at the very least. I mean, she even has divinity. And one thing, it was crazy. So like her class skills, like her divinity comes with her class skills. So does that mean like every foreigner has divinity? Like that's crazy. I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. I was like researching Abigail, and her class skill, like divinity is one of her class skills. So every foreigner has divinity. So that's crazy. I didn't know that. But yeah, like Gil's freaking done. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I think the next one is gonna be the last one. I'm not sure unless they go into something else, but just based on this and what I'm looking at right now, I think next one is going to be the last one. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Um, they're going to talk about few service next time, so I'm curious to see that. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a nice day. Please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And catch you guys in the next one. Yeah, Abigail's a freaking monster.